I recently read the book The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker. I will cover my main takeaways from that book in this video. The book talks about what makes an executive effective in a big organization. These ideas serve as a starting point for any employee who wants to do better work for a big organization. I'll be adding my interpretation and flavor to these ideas and partially combining with ideas from the books I've read before in this video. To be effective, the author argues, an executive needs to be habituated to the following practices. Practice number 1. Have knowledge. You need to gather the knowledge and prerequisites that you will need to perform well at your job. This can be achieved by taking the following steps. 1. Find the best resources, preferably from top performers, on the internet for the things that you need to learn. These can be tutorials, books, papers, online courses, etc. 2. Take the help of your colleagues who are more experienced. Ask them for their time. Book a meeting. Get their continual guidance to accelerate your learning instead of focusing on learning things from scratch by yourself. Practice number 2. Manage time. Know where your time is going by recording it. Manage it by intensely cutting down or delegating anything that isn't contributing to the organization's output. Consolidate your time into continuous uninterrupted chunks so that you can do deep work. And for meetings, insist that the meetings serve a purpose and ask for things to be spelled out before the meeting. Ensure that the meeting sticks to these objectives and at the end of the meeting, connect the takeaways to the original agenda. Terminate the meeting early if the mission is accomplished. Have follow-up meetings on the decisions made. In these meetings, focus on making contributions to the agenda, not just talking to fill time. Practice number 3. Set priorities. Prioritize only things that contribute to the output of the organization. For all the tasks you take up, ask the questions: is this the right thing for the organization? How much does this task actually contribute, etc., to avoid things that don't fit this criteria. Fix one problem at a time by spending time on it extensively and resolving most issues before moving on to a new one. Work at a slow, steady pace. Don't try to pace harder, compromising the quality of the work. Assume that any commitment you make automatically expires in 2 months unless you clearly see that it's needed. You also need to focus on the timing. Make contributions that the organization needs right now or in near future, not what it doesn't need anymore or something that's too far ahead. Practice number 4. Create an action plan. Questions that will help come up with the action plan are: what contributions should the enterprise expect from me over the next 18 months to 2 years? What results will I commit to? With what deadlines? Are these compatible with the organization's values? And so on. The plan needs to be flexible for revision. There must be a system in place to check results against expectations. The action plan fully determines how the executive should spend his time. So it's important to have review sessions to evaluate these plans. Practice number 5. Know your strengths. Build on your strengths. Sharpen only those weaknesses which impede your strengths. Gauge where you can make the most contributions and concentrate on areas where superior performance will bring outstanding results. Questions that will help here are: what am I uniquely capable to make the most contributions at? What is the most important contribution I can make to the performance of this organization? Because these in effect ask: what self-development do I need? What knowledge and skill do I need to acquire to make the contribution I should be making? What strengths do I have to put to work? What standards do I have to set for myself? And so on. For young employees, an important question to ask is: am I in the right work and is this the right place for my strengths to tell? The job should not be too easy or too small. as it doesn't bring out the best you can do. If it is, switch jobs. Practice number 6, making complex decisions. Focus on taking few important decisions correctly and everything else will fall in place. Make judgments based on dissenting opinions rather than consensus of facts. Don't make a decision unless there's a disagreement. We need to have conflicting arguments to make good decisions. Always study the alternatives before you fully commit to a decision. When you make an opinion, just like scientists, make precise predictions about how it can be tested. And don't waste your time running additional studies unless the current one is clearly inadequate for some reason. Practice number 7, collaboration. Relationships should be task-focused. Achievement must be measured against the objective criteria of contribution and performance. It doesn't matter if you like the other person as a friend, do not focus on that. Relationship with the boss. You need to understand how you can be most effective. For this, ask your boss, what results are expected of me? What contribution from me do you require to make your contribution to the organization? When do you need this? How do you need it? And in what form? Additionally, make your own judgments for being effective by asking, what does my boss do really well? What does he need from me to perform well? Relationship with peers. It doesn't matter if you like them or not. Have a task-focused relationship. Everyone is good for specific tasks. No one is good at all tasks. So when you're collaborating with someone, understand their strengths and use them to the advantage of the organization. Relationship with subordinates. Ask, what are the contributions for which this organization and I, your superior, should hold you accountable for? What should we expect of you? What is the best utilization of your ability? Make each job of the subordinate big that demands his best performance. Pick people based on their strengths, ignore their weaknesses, as long as they don't deteriorate performance on their strengths. Motivate them by talking as if their job is the most important thing to do in the company. And when you give appraisals, make sure that they're focused on strengths and not weaknesses. When you delegate your work, have the name of the person accountable, the deadline written down. Jot down the expectation clearly in writing. Practice number 8, staying ahead of the industry. Keep an eye out on what the competition is doing so that you can exploit their strengths. Keep an eye out for the opportunities that you get so that you can exploit them. And these are my key takeaways from reading the book, The Effective Executive. Let me know what you think in the comments below.